This
is Woodside Church Kids.
So, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be learning about a man with a strange name, and this man's name is Zacchaeus. But before we learn about him, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you ever have problems because you're small? When you're younger, you tend to be a bit smaller. Are there things that you can't reach? Are there things that you can't see because you're just a bit too small to be able to see over things? But when you're a child, you will know that one day you're going to grow up. One day you're going to grow taller. But when you're already a grown up, you have to accept that things aren't necessarily going to change. You're not going to be able to grow up anymore. You're never going to be able to see everything you want to because tall adults will always get in the way. So sorry to all you small grown-ups out there. And today we're going to learn about Zacchaeus, who was a small man who wanted to meet Jesus. And we're going to read about him in today's story called A Small Man. Zacchaeus was a man who took tax money from people. Tax money was what they had to pay to their king. But Zacchaeus took more money than he was supposed to. He kept it for himself to make him rich, and nobody liked him. One day Jesus was passing by his town, and everyone went to see Jesus. Even Zacchaeus went to see Jesus. But Zacchaeus had a problem. He was short. Everyone was in his way. He could not see. Then Zacchaeus had an idea. He ran ahead of the people and he climbed a tall tree. He found the perfect place to watch Jesus. He could see all of the people coming. When Jesus got to the tree, he stopped. He looked up at Zacchaeus. "Zacchaeus," he said, "come down right away. I need to stay at your house today." Zacchaeus scrambled down that tree and Jesus wanted to stay with him. He took Jesus to his house and he told Jesus, "I want to do what is right. I will give back the money I took to make me rich." Jesus was pleased, and Zacchaeus had chosen to do the right thing. What does Zacchaeus do after he meets Jesus? Do you remember in our story? Well, he decided to give away the money that he had taken from people that made him rich. Zacchaeus changes when he meets Jesus. Before, he was selfish and loved money and would steal from people, but afterwards he was generous and loved God and loved other people. I want you to shut your eyes and I want you to imagine that you are Zacchaeus. You're a person who steals money from people and nobody likes you because you're quite mean to them. How would you feel when Jesus wants to come to your house? Jesus was a famous teacher and he wants to come to your house even though you aren't particularly a nice person. You're someone who steals money from people, but Jesus wants to see you. How amazing is that? How amazing would it have been for Zacchaeus when Jesus came to the tree and looked up and said, "Come down because I want to have dinner with you tonight." How amazing is that? And we're going to do a craft just over behind me, and we're going to look all about and make a craft to help us remember this story and how Jesus wants to love everyone and wants us to love everyone as well. So I'll see you over there in a second.
Hello everyone, welcome back to this week's worship segment of the video. Today we are doing the song "My God is so big, so strong and so mighty." I'm Hermione and
I'm Matty.
And here's the song.
Let's go.
My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. In the beginning, God made everything. God simply spoke and the world came to be. He sent a flood to live here on the earth. He healed the sick, he made blind men see, he let the lame walk, and he set the poor free. He died on the cross and he rose from the grave. He conquered sin, he is mighty to save. He went to heaven and he's coming back. God's word is true, but if it's attacked, I'll look you in the eye and say, my God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. God the Spirit, God the Father, God the Son. 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 1. God the Spirit, God the Father, God the Son. 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 1. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do.
Well, that was pretty speedy making my way from over there, and I think you even beat me here. Today's craft is going to help us remember this story about Zacchaeus climbing the tree so that he could see Jesus. All you're going to need is a piece of paper and some kind of green pen to make the leaves, a brown pen to make the trunk of the tree, and a different colour pen. I'm going to use a black pen to draw Zacchaeus in the tree. And you're also going to need a hand. Now this could be your hand, it could be your parents' hand, or your brother or sister's hand, or someone else that you live with. And this hand is going to make the main bit of our tree. So what you're going to do is put your hand on your piece of paper somewhere towards the top. If I lift this up, you might be able to see it. So I'm going to put my hand somewhere towards the top to make the top of my tree. And then I'm going to take my pen, and what I'm going to do is just draw around my hand so that my fingers look like the branches coming out of the tree. And so you can do this as well while you're here. So put your hand down on your paper, grab your green pen and draw around your hand to make it look like the branches of the tree. Now if you've got a small hand, you might want to do it more than once, so you can do lots of parts of your tree. If you've got a big hand like me, you might only be able to fit it on a piece of paper once. And here we go. So this is my handprint, and I've drawn around it here. But I've stopped at the bottom, because at the bottom I'm going to use my brown pen to make the trunk of the tree. The easiest way to do it is just go down, just line pretty much straight down. And if you're trying to make it look really like a tree, if you come out slightly at the bottom, it looks like the roots of the tree. So I'm going to do that. And now I'm going to draw inside my hand to make all the leaves. Maybe I'm going to make the bottom bit here a bit wavy, and I'm going to add some leaves and stuff in here and add some lots of leaves. If I had lots and lots of time, I might make these smaller and make them more delicate. Maybe if you've got more colours, you could add some autumn leaves in there, so some reds, oranges and yellows, or maybe you've got some different colours of green, so you can do some darker leaves, some lighter leaves, and make it all look fancy like that. Now, you could just do circles, you can do kind of more leaf shapes, it's up to you. It's your drawing, so you can do whatever you like. Now I think we are pretty much there. I think that looks a little bit like a tree. And I'm going to decorate the trunk a bit. I'm going to do some more lines to colour that in a bit, so it looks more like a tree trunk and less like just a couple of brown lines. There we go. I think that's pretty good. I think that looks like a tree. If you said to me, what is that? I would say it's a tree. But we're missing something from our tree. This tree was fine before everyone arrived, but when Jesus came to town, do you remember what Zacchaeus did? He was a short man, so he couldn't see over all of the tall people. So he found a tall tree, like the one that we've just drawn, and he climbed up it. And I'm not very good at drawing people, so I'm going to do a little stick man. And a stick man is an easy way to draw a person. But maybe you want to be a bit more artistic and draw something else. So I'm going to put my stick man standing in the tree. I'm going to draw him a head. Just there we go. It's going to be a big tree compared to him. That's his head just there. And then I'm going to draw him a body. Just a straight line down there. And I'm going to give him a couple of legs so he can stand up properly. Let's make his legs stand on the tree. There we go. You can see him stood on the branch here. And then I'm going to give him a couple of arms so he can hold onto the branches to stop him falling. There's one arm there, and there is one arm there. There we go. Can you see little Zacchaeus stood in my tree? Maybe if I hold it closer you can see it a bit better. Here he is, stood in the branches so that he can see Jesus. And that will help us to remember that Jesus came to see Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus wasn't a particularly nice man. He was a man that would steal from people. But Jesus came up to his tree and said, Zacchaeus, I want to be your friend and I want to love you and I want to have dinner with you. I want to come into your house and have dinner with you. And Zacchaeus must have felt pretty amazing. And Jesus wants to love us as well. We do things wrong sometimes too. Maybe we don't steal money the same way Zacchaeus did, but we can say mean things about people, or we might even steal money from places. But Jesus loves us anyway. Regardless of what we do, it doesn't matter what we do, Jesus will always love us. And he will always come to whatever tree that we're in, if we're in a tree, and he will say, I want to be your friend, and I want you to love other people just like I love other people. And this picture we've made will help us to remember that. And that is it for today's video. So we will see you next week when we're going to do something a little bit different. Bye!